Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 24th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery across the Pacific Northwest. You can see this is yesterday morning here. There's some lightning strikes across the higher terrain to BC. But if we put this upper level low into motion here, check this out. You can see the spin perfectly. Look at all the lightning this thing produced yesterday. And now we're going on into this morning, redeveloping some thunderstorms across southeast Washington, northeast Oregon, Idaho Panhandle, into western Montana. This is going to kick back towards the east slopes of the Cascades and British Columbia this afternoon as well. But again, look at all this lightning. Had a pretty good thunderstorm there across the central Cascades. And we had plenty of lightning activity across BC and the North Cascades. And you can see these high convective clouds that moved across the region, brought us a glorious sunset last night. You probably saw it if you were in western Washington there. So yeah, we're going to do this again. This upper level low is not in any hurry of leaving the area. It's going to be around tomorrow as well, spinning and producing some locally heavy rainfall around the area. We'll take a look at that in some detail as well. Now, this is Typhoon Tokaje. I called it Tokaje yesterday, but it's Tokaje pronounced. So this is going to enter the westerlies here in the jet stream, and it's going to throw a monkey wrench into the wave train downstream and affect our troughs and ridges and just what kind of weather we're going to get here in the Pacific Northwest. Just kind of adds a new layer of unpredictability here for the region. You can imagine if you're swinging a rope in the backyard, you kind of have some timing of what that rope is doing, and it's still going to be unpredictable at times. But then as you're doing that rope, all of a sudden your big brother comes along and wants to start swinging on it too, and things starts flying all over the place. It's kind of the same analogy when you start injecting tropical moisture into the jet stream here. But we do have pretty good models, and we'll take a look at those here in a moment and see what kind of weather we can expect in the extended. This was my view from work here, looking towards the Cascades. That thunderstorm, as it really got going there, produced quite a few lightning strikes over the central Cascades. You'll probably see some similar views today, maybe across the North Cascades, but this activity will push a little bit off to the east, so probably better views from eastern Washington. Here we're looking at this morning. You can see the low clouds did infiltrate in a bit. Some of the river valleys, southwest Washington, Oregon coast. A lot of this should burn off during the day today. And you can see that upper level low spinning out over here. I'll back up a little bit here, and you can see some stronger thunderstorms starting to develop over here across Idaho and western Montana. So interesting day, and it's a nice upper level low. It's fairly rare for the area here, and we'll take a look at where we can expect some impacts here in a moment. I wanted to show you this. This is the National Weather Service forecast office here. This is right on the shore of Lake Washington. I'm just doing a little comparison here between SeaTac and the National Weather Service Seattle forecast office. I have a lot of people telling me that SeaTac temperatures are completely unreliable and you can't count on them at all. It's just really not the case. Sometimes SeaTac temperatures spike a little bit high in the late afternoon, but it's a very small amount, and really the overall temperature difference is not much at all. For example, here we're looking at SeaTac, and you can see the monthly total, the average high is 80.6. We hit 81 yesterday, a little bit above average. We're going to be above average again today. Now, if I look towards the weather, the Seattle forecast office there, right on the shores of Lake Washington, you can see their average high is actually 81. It's actually higher than SeaTac is, and their average high is 76. So they were above average yesterday, going to remain so today. But you can see that the SeaTac thermometer does quite well. I mean, it's kind of a debate between, most people live in the city, and, cement actually adds to the heat, of course, a little bit, but at the same time, that's where people are living. So those temperature differences do mean something. And the SeaTac thermometer is not out to lunch. It is an accurate weather station there. And you can see a place on Lake Washington here averaging actually a higher temperature average high. So here we're looking at Olympia here, and you can see Olympia is much warmer than both locations. 82.5 the average high, 84 yesterday, 77 is the average high at this time of year. Now looking here, excessive rainfall outlook. Check this out. Look at this slight exists all the way into northeast Washington, Idaho Panhandle, western Montana, and we know the reason why. That upper level low just kind of spinning on our area, and you can see the marginal risk goes all the way out into eastern Washington here. So we have to watch for this potential for flooding concerns. They talk about some 1 and 3 hourly rates exceeding flash flood guidance here across the northern Rockies and in through the northeast Washington area. So kind of interesting, kind of unusual here for the summertime. Here's day 2. You can see that upper level low is going to continue to bring this region of excessive rainfall outlook possibilities anyway. And this could be extended a little bit further east into the northeast Washington and maybe upgraded at some point as well. This is still day 2. And day 3, this really should push off, and we should not be under any threat. Still the monsoon moisture still going on down there, of course. Now looking at Spokane, thunder chances Wednesday, you can can see there is a marginal risk for even some severe storms, mainly just west of Spokane, and that includes Sandpoint, Moscow, Idaho, Pullman, Lewiston down there. So yeah, there's some severe weather out there as possible across eastern Washington. Look at these wind gusts, 40 to 50 miles per hour, small to moderate hail, abundant lightning, locally heavy rainfall. And this is mainly for Wednesday afternoon into late evening. And Thursday is going to be kind of a repeat in this area out here, but a little tiny bit further east. Now, checking this out, this is the HRRR 3KM 12Z run here. It's not really picking up the lightning too well out here. It's kind of underdoing it. But as you can see, as we go through the afternoon, look at that upper level low spinning here. Again, some severe storms possible, mainly Spokane east. And you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere here across northeast Washington, flooding potential there. And as we go on into the overnight hours, it calms down a bit, then starts to fire up again here Thursday afternoon. You can see the spin in the atmosphere. And this includes northeast Washington and some of the North Cascades a little bit more here on Thursday before this activity finally gets the heck out of here on Friday. Now, taking a look here, the European, let's run this one through its paces here. Upper level low here, you can see the curvature of this upper level low and quite a bit of lightning activity on the European here through eastern Washington, Idaho Panhandle, western Montana up into BC. It even shows a little bit of pop-up stuff going on across the higher terrain at BC here. I don't know about that, but the upper level low is definitely the favorite area for lightning during this afternoon. Going through Thursday afternoon comes on here again. You can see this upper level low spinning and maybe even back towards the Cascades again here on Thursday. We'll continue to watch that before Friday. This activity finally kicks off to the east a bit. Maybe some stuff still hanging up here on eastern British Columbia. I mean, what an upper level low. That would be 4 days of activity for us here. Let's go all the way into Saturday and check out what it says. You can see it's further east by Saturday, but some activity starts to kick up again across Oregon. So we'll watch that as we go. Now, this is looking at the NAM 3KM 12Z simulated infrared satellite imagery here, and you can really see that upper level low just spinning its way across the region here this afternoon. That's why they have that severe weather threat out here across Montana. Look at some of these thunderstorms out here. This look like supercells over here across extreme eastern Idaho and western Montana. And you can see the upper level spin continuing here on through Thursday afternoon. Some activity coming off the Okanagan Highlands Thursday afternoon as well and kicking off into Montana. And by the time we get into Friday, the NAM you can see the NAM shows this. I think it's going to be a little bit better. Most of this activity can find Montana eastward at this point on and through Friday. So now let's take a look at what's coming up here. The 500 millibar height, trough and ridge position. There's our upper level low going. This is the deterministic run of the European here. Initial conditions, best we understand them, just run out. See the trough dig down across the weekend here. And this is the 06Z run. It only goes out 90 hours here. So let's back up to the afternoon run. You can see that trough agreement here. But quickly, this trough builds out over the Gulf of Alaska here, and this is going to be the big question here. How far will this ridge drift to the east here? How close will this trough get here? Because the European shows it getting pretty darn close here in the week to 10-day period with this ridge moving off. Now let's check what the GFS says. What kind of agreement do we have? There's the upper level low, the ridge over the area. Here goes the trough for this weekend, cooling us down for a few days. Trough digs out of the Gulf of Alaska. Ridge quickly rebuilds early next week. And you can see that trough is further to the west on the GFS. So we have some pretty good model disagreement. A very strong ridge here across Wyoming and Montana at this point. And then as we go on in through the 10-day period, you can kind of see this ridge is right there. We're right on the edge of it here. This is a tough forecast. It's going to be tricky here, but you can see the GFS quickly brings this trough through and then rebuilds the ridge even again here through the extended, but we're getting kind of far out there at this point. But then you can see off in fantasy land of the GFS, some of the cooler weather lovers would love to see something like this across the region. Now looking at the European Ensemble, this is all 50 runs averaged out. This is for yesterday afternoon here, and you can see it upper level low finally kicking out of here by Friday. Then we get this trough moving down this weekend, cool us down. Then here we go, opening up the Gulf of Alaska low. Ridge here across the Intermountain West, Montana, Canada here. And you can see we're right on the borderline here. This is a tricky forecast, like I said before. As you can see, mostly trophy moving in there, but then kind of that ridge rebuilding here as we go through the extended into early September. So we still may be in for a warm period or above average period here through the early portions of September towards mid-September. But this trough and ridge are playing this cat and mouse game off our coastline here. It's going to have a big play in how warm we get here at times during the extended forecast. GFS, Ensemble mean, 30 different members run out and averaged here. You can see the upper level low finally kick out of here by Friday. Then we get that trough. Good agreement there with the cool down in the trough, and then building this ridge somewhere nearby us here. GFS, Ensemble mean, that's getting kind of close. That's a tough forecast here. You can see this ridge pushing off, so we might be getting some marine influence here on western portions at least. But again, we're going to have to take this day at a time because we still have some model discrepancy, and that's really close to start making a call on, you can't just say, oh, we're going to be in a heat wave through the end of August into early September. It would just not be responsible to do so. And then you can kind of see through the extent on the GFS a little bit of a bump out here off our coastline as far as a ridge goes. But again, that's too far out in fantasy land. Now here we go for Portland. Today, tomorrow, above 90. Then you see the cool down with the trough and the potential warm up after that. Maybe a couple of days getting back up towards 90 through mid next week. Seattle, probably not going to get as warm as I thought today, probably low mid 80s, and then maybe getting towards 90 degrees tomorrow. The record high for the 25th is 91. I don't know that we're going to get there though, but you never know. It just depends on a few things. We'll continue to watch that tomorrow when I do my briefing. Now you can see here the trough moves through some very nice weather. It looks like it returns here through the weekend and keeps you a little bit cooler. Then maybe a bounce back into the 80s here from early and mid next week with that ridge. Now, looking at Pendleton, Oregon here, you can see some 90-degree days coming. The trough cools them down a bit. Then the potential for that, some 100-degree days here coming up through mid next week. So the farther you go east, the closer you're going to be to that ridge too. So temperatures likely to be warmer eastern Washington, Oregon, British Columbia valleys versus western portions at this point. Now, taking a look here, the HER 3km. Just looking at above ground smoke. So basically surface smoke here. If I just go ahead and roll this through, you can kind of see there are some fires going through Idaho, Washington, Oregon, but they're not that bad. It's not like a huge smoke storm like we've got in years past. So I will definitely take this here. But of course, this can't predict future lightning strikes and forest fire starts coming across the region here. So hopefully nothing gets going too crazy with this upper level low bringing some pretty significant amounts of lightning to the region. And again, just looking at Tokaje out here off the coast of Japan. It's not a threat to landfall. It's just going to enter our westerlies here and throw a little monkey wrench into our forecast downstream of it. But yeah, so if you guys are especially on hiking in the mountains, northeast Washington, British Columbia highlands today, just have a heads up. Idaho Panhandle, western Montana, it's going to be some powerful storms rolling around there. There's actually flooding concerns. You could get caught in some flash flooding. There could be some landslides and, just have a heads up on that. Keep your eye on the sky. And these thunderstorms are coming this afternoon. This upper level low is not going anywhere quick, and it's going to spawn quite a bit of lightning here this afternoon, and it'll do so again tomorrow, just a little bit further east. But again, some of that activity may wrap around into the Cascades in British Columbia here as we go through Thursday also. So we got to watch out for the Cascade hikers and campers and whatnot. So anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll continue to watch our forecast. We'll try to pinpoint where that ridge and troughing is going to set up here through the extended. Are we going to warm back up again? Are we going to stay warm? Or the trough's going to be much closer to our area and cool us down? Anyway, click like, hit your notification, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.